It has been almost a month since my last video, and I apologize for that, but I have had a pretty tight work schedule recently, and I wanted to take a nice long break before this beta released because I was planning on making a ton of videos through these 2 weeks, and then hitting up the 4th DLC for Black Ops 4, and following that towards the full launch of Modern Warfare. But some incredibly annoying issues related directly to the connection quality, and by extension, gameplay quality, have been just plaguing me for the first 2 days. We are now on day 3 of the beta, and I spent the first day miserable, trying to enjoy myself, but I chalked it up to maybe this just wasn't my game. I was getting one shot by almost everyone, it seemed. Day 2, I almost gave up on this beta altogether. Before I get into this, a like and subscribe is always appreciated, especially if you want to stay up to date on my videos and help me out. Okay, so I knew what the culprit was, and I wanted to find a way to fix it because I was sure that it must have been something on my end causing my connection issues. The root of the problem was that my ping was typically hovering around 70 milliseconds. Now in Modern Warfare, the time to kill is considered fast. With a fast time to kill, you absolutely need a ping that is as low as possible to have a good experience. I was getting up past 100 and even 150 millisecond ping on occasion. This caused weird issues like my screen freezing momentarily during a gunfight and then unfreezing when I've been spawned back in. I'm using a Netduma router, and I was using GeoFilter to connect to the nearby dedicated servers, of which there were 3 within my radius that I had set. For some reason, it was putting me out further than the nearest Black Ops 4 server that I usually connect to, and that server that I was connecting to was causing these massive issues. So I went through a few tests to try and suss out what the problem actually was. I didn't think it could possibly be due to this dedicated server, and I was thinking that it must be something in my settings. To explain it another way, my GeoFilter was set initially to include a server that wasn't too far away, but for some reason this particular server kept being selected in almost every single match, and it has a much higher ping than I would expect. I thought the solution would be as simple as to reduce my radius to exclude that server, so I would only have the 2 closest selected, and to a point it was, but in the end, I can end up searching for a match much longer on these closer servers. This doesn't make sense to me at all, considering Black Ops 4 is just fine when it comes to these 2 in terms of ping and finding a match, even now during what is probably one of its lowest population counts it has had. The rank of these 3 servers when it comes to the Modern Warfare beta are about 15 to 20 milliseconds, 30 milliseconds, and 70 milliseconds. The faster ones are of course closer, but when I disable my GeoFilter entirely, it pretty much never connects to anything except that 70 milliseconds one. Like I've mentioned, I can exclude that one, but my match times are much longer. I feel like this is why so many people are having connection issues. The server that you can get into immediately isn't based on what's closest to you. It might be more focused on overall capacity of a server, which happens to be the worst connection for me. So I found another solution that is honestly pretty simple as long as you have either a Netduma router or a DumaOS compatible router, like the Netgear X300, 500, or 700. Coming over from Black Ops 4, I had my GeoFilter set up to never use ping assist. I liked only connecting to dedicated servers because they were always more reliable when it came to connection, and I was getting connected to the fast servers almost every time. What I've done in Modern Warfare is reduce my GeoFilter to exclude the terrible server I don't want to connect to, and set my ping assist to 20 milliseconds while using strict mode. This means that it will only connect me to games in my radius unless the ping is 20 milliseconds or lower, and then it can find something outside of it. This pretty much makes it so I always connect to peer-to-peer games. I know that seems like a backward solution, but I have been getting incredible games by doing this, like 15 millisecond ping games. I rarely get that feeling that I died in one shot and had no chance. If I reduce my ping assist back to 0 while doing this, I can end up just continually searching for a match that slowly adds one person at a time to the lobby on those 2 dedicated servers in my new filter radius. I'm not sure why Modern Warfare is having such a hard time connecting to them, but it sucks for pretty much everyone that gets on one of those bad servers. I almost forgot about my GeoFilter because I rarely ever used it on Black Ops 4. It was just usually a decent connection for me. If I start to have trouble finding matches, I'll just set my ping assist higher in increments of 5 milliseconds. Like, I'll move up to 25 milliseconds or 30 millisecond ping assist. If you don't have a router capable of this feature, then I'm not sure what a solution for you might be, but at least you have an explanation to what might be going on. Without this router, I would be getting terrible connections constantly. Now my choices are unreliable but fast peer-to-peer, or reliable and very slow matchmaking dedicated that has around the same ping as most peer-to-peer connections anyways. I hope Infinity Ward is aware of the issue and can put out a solution. The game has become so much fun now that I can actually see someone before I get shot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.